Margaret Chen had almost canceled the blind date 3 times that morning. At 58, she'd convinced herself that romance was something for younger people, something that had passed her by after her divorce 5 years ago. But her sister Linda had been so insistent, so hopeful, that Margaret finally agreed. "His name is Tom," Linda had said. "He's kind. That's all you need to know." Now, sitting in the corner booth of Miller's Coffee House, Margaret smoothed her cream-colored cardigan and wondered if kind was enough. The cafe smelled of cinnamon and fresh bread, reminding her of Sunday mornings from long ago. Through the wide windows, she could see autumn leaves dancing down the street, the kind of gentle afternoon that made her think of second chances. The door opened, and a man walked in. He wasn't what she expected. Tom Harrison wore a simple gray jacket that had seen better days, the kind you'd find at a thrift store. His shoes were practical, not fancy. He carried himself with quiet dignity, but nothing about him suggested wealth or status. At 62, his face held the kind of weathered kindness that comes from truly living. Margaret's heart sank just a little. Not because of how he looked, but because she could already hear her ex-husband Richard's voice in her head, critiquing, judging, measuring people by their bank accounts and their cars. But then Tom smiled. It was warm and genuine, reaching all the way to his eyes, the kind of smile that made you feel safe. "Margaret." "I'm Tom. I hope I haven't kept you waiting." His voice was gentle, unhurried. She found herself smiling back. "Not at all." "Please sit down." They ordered coffee. Tom insisted on paying, pulling out a worn leather wallet and carefully counting out bills. Margaret noticed his hands, strong, capable hands that had clearly done real work. "Linda tells me you're a teacher," Tom said, stirring cream into his coffee with the same careful attention. "Retired now," Margaret said. "I taught second grade for 33 years. What about you?" Tom paused just for a moment. "I work with people. Help them solve problems mostly. Nothing glamorous." Over the next hour they talked. Tom asked questions that showed he was truly listening. He wanted to know about her students, her garden, the books she loved. He shared stories about his own life, growing up on a farm, learning the value of hard work from his mother, who'd raised 3 boys on her own. "She used to say that character is built in the quiet moments," Tom said softly. "When nobody's watching, that's when you find out who you really are." Margaret felt something shift in her chest. When was the last time someone had talked to her about character instead of careers? They met again the following week, and the week after that. Tom always chose simple places: the park, a small diner, the public library where they browsed through old books together. He never tried to impress her with expensive restaurants or showy gestures. Instead, he brought her thoughtful gifts: a packet of heirloom tomato seeds for her garden, a worn copy of her favorite poet's work that he'd found at a used bookstore. Margaret's friends had opinions. Her neighbor Barbara pulled her aside one afternoon. "Honey, are you sure about this Tom fellow? He seems—" "Well, he doesn't seem to have much. At our age, you need security." But Margaret found she didn't care. For the first time in years, she felt truly seen. Tom remembered everything she told him. He called when he said he would. He held doors not because he was showing off, but because that's simply who he was. One evening, 3 months into their courtship, they were walking through the park when it started to rain. Tom immediately took off his jacket and held it over Margaret's head, getting soaked himself. She protested, but he just laughed. "Margaret, I've been rained on before. I'll survive. You, on the other hand, spent an hour on your hair. Let's get you home dry." Later, sitting in her living room with tea, Margaret made a decision. She told Tom about Richard, about the divorce, about how she'd been married to a man who measured everything by money and status. How she'd felt invisible for 25 years, just an accessory to his success. Tom listened without interrupting. When she finished, he reached across and gently took her hand. "Margaret, I need to tell you something. I haven't been entirely honest with you." Her heart dropped. Here it comes, she thought. He's married. He's broke. "I own a company," Tom said quietly. "Harrison Industries. We employ about 3,000 people. I'm what people call successful, wealthy." Margaret stared at him, confused. Tom smiled sadly. "After my wife passed away 10 years ago, I discovered something painful. I couldn't tell who liked me for me and who liked me for my money. Women would find out who I was and suddenly become different people. So I started hiding, dressing simply, living simply. Testing people, I suppose. Why are you telling me now? Margaret whispered. Because you never asked. In 3 months, you never once asked what I do for a living, what kind of car I drive, where I live. You just saw me, the real me. And I realized that's the rarest gift anyone has ever given me. Margaret felt tears on her cheeks. I thought you were judging me. For only liking you because you seemed modest, safe. Tom shook his head. I fell in love with you because you have something money can't buy. Grace, kindness, the ability to see people's hearts instead of their bank accounts. He pulled out a small box. Not a ring, but a key. This is to my real home. I'd like you to see it. See all of me. But Margaret, I need you to know, with or without the money, I'm still just Tom. The man who loves your laugh. Who wants to spend every Sunday morning reading the paper with you? Who thinks you're beautiful in your gardening clothes covered in dirt? Margaret took the key, holding it carefully. She thought about all the years with Richard, chasing status and losing herself. And here was Tom, who'd had everything all along, choosing simplicity. Choosing authenticity? I don't care about the money, she said softly. I care about the man who gave me his jacket in the rain. Who remembers that I like 2 sugars in my tea? Who treats the waitress with the same respect he'd treat anyone? Tom's eyes grew bright. Then maybe we're both exactly where we're supposed to be. They sat together in comfortable silence as the rain continued outside. 2 people who'd learned life's hardest lessons, finally finding someone who understood that the best things in life aren't things at all. They're moments like this. Honest, real, true. And that, Margaret thought, was worth more than all the wealth in the world. Sometimes the richest treasures...